So this is the Angry Reviewer, and today I am bringing you a review on Enemy Mine. Enemy Mine stars, and you can see that, Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. Dennis Quaid is this pilot named Wilson Dandridge. He is on a salvage mission with other pilots from Earth, and they're salvaging Drakon, where Louis Gossett Jr. is from. Basically, what we learn in this film, we learn to overcome our petty differences and put aside what we believe to survive. We learn it's not what's on the outside of a person, but what's on the inside. See, Louis Gossett Jr., and I'm going to call him Zombies. No, Jerry. That's what they call the Drakon. The Drak that crash landed with. That's what he calls the Drak that crash landed with him, Jerry. Basically, Jerry Dandridge and his Drak counterpart get stranded on this planet, and at first their hatred for one another shows. You know, it's racial difference. Randy Quaid hates Louis Gossett Jr. because he's different than him. He's an alien, a Drak. And in this time period, the human race was taught to hate Draks, to kill them almost to extinction. So they get stranded together, and basically when they get stranded together on this planet, you get to, through the course of time, you get to see them overcome their hatred of one another and become friends. Become real close friends. And they learn to survive together. They learn, if anything, they gotta learn to survive with one another together on this planet. I think it's one of the greatest sci-fi films Wolfgang Petersen has ever made. I love the film. I love the visuals. I love the story. I love the character development. I love everything about this film. This is one of my most favorite sci-fi films. And it kind of pulls at your heartstrings when Jerry Dandridge starts talking about his adopted son, Zombies. Zombies is the son of the stranded alien, of the alien that was stranded with him, named Jerry. And I love the fact, through the course of the movie, you see Jerry and you see Jerry Dandridge learn to accept one another, learn to put their petty differences aside with one another. They learn that if they are to survive, they have to accept one another. If the human race could do that now and put aside all the racism and hatred we have towards one another, and they have towards transgenders, blacks, Jews, you name it, I think we'd be living in a perfect place. But I mean, this is a movie after all, so that ain't gonna happen in real life. Maybe one day, but not anytime soon. I personally think anyone who watches this movie will love this movie. They're gonna fall in love with Zombies. They're gonna fall in love with the story of how to put your hatred and your racism aside so you can ensure your survival. Dennis Quaid is always a fucking awesome actor. Louis Gossett Jr. owns as the Drak. And when you look at him, you wouldn't think that was Louis Gossett Jr. under all that makeup as a Drak. And Dennis Quaid, I mean, he's always good in everything he's in. He's made a few wrong choice films, but other than that, he's made a lot of good films. I personally can't hate this film. I personally love this film. I love everything about this film, and I think you will too. I found this film, and as soon as I found it, I had to own it on DVD. I found this film, and I paid $18.95 for it because it's a rare release, and it's real hard to come by. I'm sure nowadays they probably got it cheaper, but back then it was real hard to come by. And when I saw it, I had to have it because this is a part of my childhood. This is nostalgia for me. I remember when this first came out and me dragging my mom to go see it with me. I don't know. From that point on, it was just something about aliens that I loved. I didn't care if there were Drax. I didn't care if there were the aliens that battled Ripley. I didn't care if there were Predators battling Arnold Schwarzenegger. If it was aliens, I was going to watch it. From Independence Day right down to Mac and Me and E.T. I loved E.T. when it first came out in the theaters. I was there like a kid in the candy store. When I first saw E.T., I knew from then on I would love aliens. My mom never denied me my alien fix. Never. Is this movie cheesy? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of dated for our time nowadays. But back then, this was the shit. Back then, you would love this fucking movie when it came out. I do. I mean, you gotta understand. I was born in the 80s. I was around when G.I. Joe the movie came out. When Transformers the movie came out. Hell, I got to see it all. And this was one of the ones I got to experience in the theater. And I got to experience at home on a color television. Just like now. I mean, I loved this movie. At first, I didn't understand it until I had it explain it to me. This movie basically shows you how to overcome your fears and shows you how to overcome racism. I'm telling you now, you'd be a fool not to watch it at least a couple of times a week, or at least watch it once and you'll be hooked. You'd be a fool not to. The visuals, great. Randy Quaid gives a powerhouse performance. Louis Gossett Jr. does the same, gives a powerhouse performance. I honestly think you're gonna fall in love with this film. And it's a father's journey, how far you would go to rescue your son. I mean, Randy Quaid gets into a coma because he gets knocked out by some villains. He wakes up and the first thing he's doing is speaking his son's language. His adopted son. Zami's his language. Draconian. And the humans are freaking out, because they're kind of racist towards Drax. Like, oh shit, this guy knows Draconese or Drac. How does he know Drac? I mean, you're gonna learn. The person that's stuck on the planet with you's language if you're there with them long enough. And he was there with Jerry for a good while. And I mean, if I was stuck there with that long, I'd learn to love my counterpart too. It's a great story, great visuals, great everything. I can't praise this film enough, and I think this film should have won more awards. Kids nowadays will never know the excitement of seeing this film when it went to theaters like I did. They'll never understand a truly great film because they got piss poor garbage nowadays and they're fucking spoiled. So yeah, I mean, I highly recommend you pick this fucking film up and you watch it at least once, twice, or 3 times. I give it an A+. Everybody does a great job. I think you'll love it. I loved it. I recommend you buy it when you find it. Don't miss out on the opportunity to see a great film just because you don't know shit about it. See, scenes like this are fucking awesome. Right here. This is where they got the worm pit scene from Star Wars from. This did it first. And I think it did it better. Creature gets stuck in the hole. And just like a predator and its prey, snap. Creature gets pulled in and creature gets killed and the shell gets spit out. And there goes the shell. Like I said, predator and prey. How can a powerful scene like that not pull you into the film? How can it not? I think you'll love it. I loved it. So pick it up. A+ all around. Everybody gives a great performance. And I personally think you're going to enjoy it. This is the Angry Reviewer, and this is one of my favorite This is one of the favorite reviews I've done. Enemy Mine. Go out and buy it. Don't miss out on it.